Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Football House Show on House Enterprise. I'm Sam Basil here with a special pre-recorded episode for Week 4 of the 2024 college football season. Let's get right into my card. The theme for my card this week is the playoff bubble. A lot of Group of 5 and Big 12 teams are still very much in the mix, and wins this week will give a big boost to their playoff resumes. First up, I've got Kansas State -7 against BYU. The Wildcats have looked great so far this year, and a win against 3-0 BYU will only help further their chances at a Big 12 championship. For my lock of the week, I have NIU -13.5 against Buffalo. The Huskies do not have a lot of marquee matchups remaining on their schedule, so they just have to win out and win out big. Wrapping up with the theme picks, I have Memphis -9 against Navy. Again, the goal for Memphis out of the American is simply to beat down every opponent on their path to the postseason. Up next, I've got OK State -2.5 versus Utah, Colorado -3 versus Baylor, and Syracuse -8.5 over ACC newcomers Stanford. My FCS pick of the week is Colgate Moneyline over Cornell. A win against Cornell will just be crucial for the Raiders as they try to set themselves right heading into Patriot League play. For the game of the week, I have Tennessee -7 versus Oklahoma. I understand that this is the Sooners' home debut in the SEC, but Tennessee has stomped their way through a fairly easy schedule so far, and I think their run game has the power to push through an Oklahoma pass rush that has been so far suffocating this season. That's my card for this week, so let's hand it over to Jake Zimmer and Will Tondo for their picks.
Hello, everybody. I did not have a very good showing. It's no secret. I think my card went 3-7 last week. So we have adjusted the strategy of volume spraying, and we're going to go a little bit more targeted in our approach here in week 4. All right, first one is Northern Illinois -13.5 versus Buffalo. Look, NIU's first game since Notre Dame. They've got a week off. They're comfortably in the rankings. Their defense is legit, and I think they're going to shut down any progress that Buffalo makes on offense. I bet on Buffalo last week. That was one of the few that did hit. Look, I look at NIU's body of work here, 54-15 over Western Illinois, and that great game against Notre Dame, of course. I think this is at least a 2-touchdown game here. So give me NIU. Louisville, -10 over Georgia Tech as ACC play gets started up. I think Louisville's defense is one of the best in the country because they were last year and almost everybody's back. Tyler Show, the Texas Tech transfer quarterback, has been fantastic his first 2 games. I really like Louisville. I think they're going to be right up there, get to a second straight conference championship game. They are, in my eyes, one of the top 15, 20 teams in the nation, along with Miami. It's going to be their ACC to lose this year. To the SEC, I said this a couple weeks ago. I said this last couple shows, I think, actually. Mizzou, I love Mizzou this year, right? And they are a pretty steep favorite over Vanderbilt at -20. But look, Vandy has a trash pass defense. They allow a ton of yards. Missouri has them beat in every single category. Brady Cook, this is going to be an air raid game for him. I think this is honestly one that could get ugly. A lot of critics are saying Vanderbilt +21. I do not think so. I think Missouri's got him by at least 3 touchdowns. So Mizzou over Vanderbilt -20. If you want an even worse defense than Vanderbilt, I look at Middle Tennessee State, MTSU, who's playing Duke. This is a home game for MTSU, which is interesting, and that's why I think it's only -14 in Duke's favor, but I'm hammering Duke -14 here. MTSU allows 42 points a game. Duke scores 26 per game as it is. I expect them to blow that number away, even though they're on the road. I think they play solid enough defense to ward off MTSU here in this scenario. And then finally, for my regular picks, Q's -8 over Stanford. Stanford good enough to slow down Kyle McCord? My gut says no, because Stanford couldn't really handle TCU. Sure, they stomped Cal Poly a couple weeks ago, but I think the Q's offense is another beast. I think they are better than TCU's offense. I think they have probably a top 3-4 in the conference, the ACC that is. So, and you looking at the schedule here, 69 points through 2 games. That's enough for me to want to take Q's here. So we're going Q's -8 over Stanford. Here's my FBS lock. It's Cincinnati -3 over Houston. And I thought about this for a while. I just don't like Houston's body of work this year. They kept it close with Oklahoma. I think it was 16-12. But just don't be fooled by that here. I don't think they're that great. UNLV loss was not good. It was 27-7. And now that we know UNLV is legit, maybe a little bit more credibility, but I don't love that still. So you've got the win against Rice, which is what they should have done. All right, it's Rice. You got the loss to UNLV. You got them keeping it close with Oklahoma. It's confusing. Whereas I just look at Cincinnati, and there's a bit more stability here. So Cincinnati scored at least 27 in each game so far. Houston's only averaged less than 18 by my counts, closer to 17. And then the last 4 games against Houston, Cincinnati has been favorites, and they've covered. So not thinking too hard with this one. I trust my gut. It's -3 Cincinnati over Houston. FCS lock. Reaching down the barrel here, but this is a ranked team versus a non-ranked team. It's Tarleton State, who's recently D1, I think. They're in the United Conference, one of those rare FCS kind of mixed conferences against North Alabama. Tarleton's off a bye week, and look, they're ranked 16 for a reason here. They've had some really solid games. They played Houston Christian their last time out. They dominated. They had their foot on the gas. 447-289, they outgained them. They doubled them up in time of possession. It was 40 minutes and change to 19-17 on the other side. Tarleton State wins a turnover battle for a third straight game. They're a +6, so they do all that stuff well. They have the ball for a long period of time. They gain a ton of yards, and they force turnovers on their opponent. Recipe for disaster against a team like North Alabama, who's 0-4 and has had a very tough time to start. Only one of their games has been close. So there you go. Tarleton State money line over North Alabama here. There's no spreads out here. I'd be curious to see how much they're favored by, but we'll see. All right, game of the week here. It's Tennessee against Oklahoma. And this is very tough. I think this is our most tough game of the week to pick so far here. There are times where I've seen Tennessee and said this team could be the best team in the nation, right? I think Texas is the best team in the nation right now. Tennessee certainly could be up there. They're favored 7 points against Oklahoma. That's the issue here. And while Tennessee has looked really good, I mean, objectively, they faced some weak competition this year, right? It hasn't been great. Well, Oklahoma, they've kind of stumbled out of the gate. They're both 3-0, but, we just talked about Houston, keeping it real tight with them. Everybody said, wow, Houston's the worst team in the Big 12. How could they do this? All right, they just weren't healthy. Oklahoma was not at 100%. They've struggled a lot due to injuries. They had some O-line injuries. They have some wide receiver injuries. They're going to get several of those folks back here on both sides of the ball. And this is Nico's first test, his first road test in a hostile environment like Oklahoma. You look at the betting trends, I think Oklahoma has historically performed pretty well as an underdog. Their roster is improving. They get more reinforcements here. I think +7 has a lot of value, folks. All right. Tennessee might be overvalued right now, but I think there's certainly a strong possibility they win this game and they do it by 7. But the trends here lead me to Oklahoma. Body of work over the last couple of weeks leads me to Oklahoma as well. Oklahoma -7 against Tennessee. That's the card. Happy wagering.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Week 4, the Football House picks. Diving right in, I like Vanderbilt +21 versus Missouri. The SEC home opener. Relatively, these games have been close as well. Missouri didn't get it done in terms of the spread last week against Boston College, so I think Vanderbilt definitely covers a 3-touchdown game. Diving in next, give me Buffalo 14.5 versus NIU. I think the magic of the Notre Dame Upset is gone. Give me some action with Buffalo. I like them covering the points there. Next one, I don't think it's a hot take at all. Cal moneyline versus FSU. Florida State, fraudulent. They might go winless. I'll take the upset here. Give me USC minus 5.5 versus Michigan. We got a great ranked matchup there. Loving what they're doing in California, so let's get the Trojans to fight on there. Kansas State minus 7 versus BYU. Kansas State, I mean, they proved us wrong last week with Arizona. I think they can easily beat BYU by a touchdown. And then, of course, a battle in Florida. Give me Miami minus 16.5 versus USF. Cam Ward, potential Giants quarterback. He's on my mock board, but I love the points there. For my FCS lock of the week, give me Central Connecticut over UMass. My lock of the week, ride with the Hook'ems, ride with Texas, the Longhorns. But I'm actually taking the over on that one. So Texas, ULM over 52.5. I think it'll be a high-scoring matchup. And then our game of the week, Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Give me the Vols, minus 7. Go, Nico, go. Potential Heisman. I think a top-tier SEC team. I love it. Give me Tennessee, minus 7, and we'll catch you next week.